This is Sports Zone on Joy Prime. My name is Fento Tahiru Fento. The show is proudly sponsored by Syntex Tank as well as Hunters. And I'll tell you all about them. But let me introduce you to my guest first in the studio. And I'm joined tonight by Sichofe Philip Atrim, who is a regular and a recurring cast member of the team, Achu Tamaklo. The reason Achu is here, though, guys, welcome to the show.
Thank you, man.
The only reason Achu is here, though, because last week, the man that sat in that seat was an unmarried man.
Single man. But
now,
Danny K is
this is for Danny K. This one is for Danny K.
Bro.
Come on, guys. This is for Danny K.
Yeah.
This is for Danny K.
Oh.
Congratulations. Daniel got married over the weekend. He's joined the table of men to his beautiful bride, Maisie.
Yeah.
And, man.
They had a beautiful ceremony.
But you didn't produce anything from Daniel's wedding. Hey.
Man.
Oh, that video. Everything is on the internet. It's on Twitter. It's everywhere. He sent a beautiful picture. You even posted it, right?
Yeah.
A beautiful thank you picture. Daniel,
Right.
but you were at the wedding.
I'm your guest.
Were
Be
you
nice.
inspired?
I'm your guest. Be nice.
Were you inspired to get
I'm your
married?
guest. Be nice.
By the way, this seat is known for prepping
unmarried
people to go
people,
and marry. So now that he's sitting in the married seat.
When
as
Daniel
Danny
comes, we have to change the seat for him.
as Danny did, I think it will just cushion him to go on.
If it's worth the money, we'll have
Anyway.
its impact. Don't worry.
Anyway, so congratulations to Daniel.
Yeah.
So right now we can't bully him on the show anymore.
Some way.
He said the first time he comes back on the show after his leave, he said he's going to sit like this. For the rest of the show, he's going to sit like this. Oh God!
Oh, God.
But
Congrats
man,
to Danny. Congrats
we
to
had a
Danny.
lot of fun.
Right.
But yeah.
We've stressed the guy enough.
Yeah.
We've stressed the guy enough.
Yeah.
But it was a beautiful ceremony.
It really was.
I showed off my dance moves again.
You are improving. I think your
The rhythm is there,
your brain
right?
cells are now beginning to coordinate
was-
music lines.
Yes.
So that's
That's a good thing.
The moment you keep your hands in check and it's not flying all over the place, I think you'll be good.
He made a confession the last time. He was saying that the problem is not the conceptualization of what he wants to do.
Oh no! In my mind,
It
I
looks
have killer
wonderful.
moves. I calculate everything before I step onto the dance floor.
But once you start,
But once I start to move, my body and my mind are not in
They're not
sync.
linked. Your musical sense is dead.
Bro. See,
Before
I
Friend's
can,
wedding,
if I can sit down and calculate the moves, I see that, darling, this move, killer move, and the first for there. When I start, no, then my hands are here, my legs are here.
No coordination.
Oh, bro.
Before friend's wedding,
Yeah,
I was at the house with the wife for about 3 hours.
he was trying to rehearse
We
something.
started with, these classic type songs because he's an old head. He would, the nostalgia and the memories and everything would kick something into him.
Yes.
Presumably, how wrong were we? Because from that genre to Azonto to Afrobeats and
Everything.
that was the day I gave up on friends.
Right.
Anyway, we've got this is beautiful. It's beautiful.
Congrats to Danny K. Congratulations.
That's right.
BK,
Enjoy marriage
Charlie,
and enjoy your
the
wife.
rest of you watching, please send your congratulations to Daniel. He's watching the show right now. If you don't send him congratulations, he comes here.
I'll be disappointed if he's watching the show.
You'll be disappointed.
yes.
I'll be very disappointed.
See, he can watch the show for different reasons. What is important is where and how he is watching the show.
Because he has to empty them. Congrats, bro.
But how do we know he's not emptying the tank while watching the show?
Please, it's
He's
okay.
skillful enough.
Guys, welcome to the show. Congratulations to Daniel once again, Maisie. Beautiful couple. I'm very happy for them. Welcome to the family. But this is Pozo, okay? Sponsored by Syntex Tank, who are telling you whatever your preferred color of water tank is, Syntex Tank has it. Whatever guarantee you want, they have it. They give you as much as 7 years warranty. What kind of inner layer do you want? They have it. You can have single, double, triple, quadruple, as many layers as you want. So remember, no matter your water needs, Syntex Tank has you covered. Syntex Tank is strong, tough. They have over 300 agents nationwide. So if you want a water tank, don't worry. You don't need to come to Accra. You don't just call them, all right? And they'll direct you to the nearest agent, and you can pick up one. And they do deliveries as well. It doesn't matter which part of the country you are. The number to call is 0244 335168. 0244 335168. Or you can go to any of their social media handles at Syntex Ghana, or you can even shop online at syntexgh.com. Syntex tank is strong, tough, and Ghana have brought in, of course, Hunters, and you know Hunters, very popular drink. Go to any supermarket, whatever your refreshment needs are, make sure that there is always a Hunters in the mix. And they've introduced a red apple cider, which has real apples, it's crisp, and it is crafted using traditional techniques just to ensure that when you enjoy it, you're enjoying it to the maximum. All right, the Hunters red apple cider, it's got real apples. It's another quality product from Casa Preco. And if you want Hunters, Casa Preco do deliveries as well for your parties, for your corporate events, for your weddings, whatever. Just call them 0262 35 1251. 0262 35 1251. Okay, that's what it is. Hunters red apple cider. It's called real apples. Now, welcome to the show. It's live and interactive on social media. Your messages are welcome on 0551 575757. The number is on your screen. We'll talk about a lot on the show, but we'll begin with boxing. And when I say a lot, there's quite a lot to talk about because last week, Everton got docked 10 points for financial fair play, irregularities or violations, if you like. And now they are threatening that Chelsea and Man City could get relegated. So if we have time, we'll touch on that.
It's good news for the Black Stars.
Yeah?
The Mali Central African Republic game has ended 1-0.
1-0.
Yeah.
So Mali are top of the group with 4 points. So Ghana have a chance to go 6 points at the top.
But Madagascar
if they can win against
away.
Comoros.
Madagascar have scored 3 away.
They have scored 3 away against the Central African Republic.
Yes. Against Chad.
Against Chad.
Yeah.
Against Chad, sorry.
Yeah.
Mali and CAR has ended 1-0.
Yeah.
They just played this evening. So Mali is top of the group now with 4 points. Okay, Ghana have 3. So Ghana can go 2 points clear at the top if they can beat Comoros on Tuesday. But we'll get into that. But let's go to Manchester. That's where we'll begin. That's where Isaac Dogbe took on Nick Ball. It was an eliminator for the featherweight title. The winner of this fight would have fought Ray Vargas for the featherweight title. And as Dogbe had been coming here a long time, and took on. And we've had lots of instances in the past where we've made excuses for Isaac Dogbe about how he's fighting some fighters that are, that have a bigger reach than him, and all those things. Right? His last fight was against Robeisio Ramirez in Oklahoma. He lost that fight, and he's coming to this one as number 2. And if he had won this fight, he would have challenged the number 1 Ray Vargas for the title. He didn't. Of course, he lost unanimous decision, and there could be no debate whatsoever about who deserved to win this fight if you watched it. And Nick Ball is kind of a big deal right now. He's number 1 in the UK in his division. And Dogbe, interestingly, despite growing up and being brought up in the UK, this is his first professional fight in the UK, and that is his second home. Because he was in the UK training. That's where he was growing up when he first represented Ghana at the London 2012 Olympics. Since then, in professional, he's fought in Ghana, he's fought in the US, but never in the UK. His first time in the UK, it doesn't go well, and he loses. And right now, it's complicated, his journey to that second world title. Actually, let me begin with you. There is a lot of talk about maybe the division in which he finds himself, because he's clearly moved up in weight here to the featherweight division. His first and only world title came in the bantamweight division. He's gone up to the featherweight division. He's won a couple of fights. Yeah. There were arguments about the quality of the opposition. He did get to Robeisio Ramirez, and that was his first real challenge. Didn't go well, and Nick Ball absolutely balled this one.
I thought the fight was closer than the scorecards suggested. Still would have gone in favor of Nick Ball regardless, but I thought the fight was closer than the judges scored it. But every time I watch Isaac Dogbe, it's all a matter of cause and effects for me. And I think back to the one moment I thought that Dogbe perhaps could have done something about the future that he has now. That would be 5-6 years ago.
Okay.
Yeah, and that's why a lot of people started saying that Dogbe, for the trajectory that he was on, he would need a new trainer, perhaps of a different quality. Admittedly, the decisions that Isaac Dogbe and his entourage have made in the last 3 years suggest a certain appreciation or realization of that truth, that given the quality that he was up against, there was perhaps a deficit in the quality of education that he had while growing up. And so you would realize that in the last 3 years post-COVID, there's been a significant attempt to change the technical handlers or his trainers. So we've seen Barry Hunter, we've seen Fred Roach before then taking control of him. However, for me, the question was whether or not the decision was going to be taken too soon or too late, and how that decision was going to be managed, because the man taking care of him, the man training him, was Paul Dogbe, his father. Yeah. And that split was never going to be a matter of simply a professional decision, because there was a relationship there. That goes beyond.
It was quite an acrimonious split.
Exactly. Wow. And I'm coming to that because since then, we've seen perhaps, I don't think we've experienced anything like that in Ghanaian boxing before. I mean, father and son, at some points, radio interviews, and some of the things that the father was saying, some of them uncomfortable.
Air jabs.
Charlie, I do hope that, because it's all quieting down now, I do hope that that matter has been resolved. But I'm just saying that the heights to which Isaac Dogbe can get to, the heights to which he can get to is all dependent on the sort of education he's had up until this point. At this stage, there is very little room for him to grow, because
that's where I want to bring Sicho in. He says there's very little room for him to grow. So now what? He's 29. What does he do? Just like hang up his gloves?
It's a tricky one, because again, like Achi said, by now he should have improved a lot in his craft. But when you watch him box,
his defense is still not.
It's still not good. It's still not great. And when even in this bout, I thought he was consciously reminding himself to defend. Yeah. And while he was trying to do so, he wasn't covering up enough. Yeah. So Nick Ball still landed a lot of jabs at him. And at 29, as a professional boxer, you should know where your strength is and go hard at it. But it appears he's great on the offensive if he wants to, go pound for pound. He loves to go for that. But many people have said so many things that is making him rethink what his strengths are. All of a sudden, he cannot go full throttle like he used to. And he can't also then defend.
Question though. Yeah. The Dogbe that we're seeing today, is it as a product of the new trainers that he's had, Hunter, Roach, or it's self-doubts?
I just feel like maybe there's a struggle to unlock a new potential in him. And you and that last statement you made probably kind of sums it up, really. Yeah. It's almost like you've reached a point level, where, it's
does he have another level he can climb to? Because when he was very young, a teenager coming up into his early 20s, we just knew he had the potential to be one of the greatest boxers. But did he peak too early? Because when athletes peak very early and they are young, we are thinking that is potential. But that could very much be their peak years. And from that point on in, they never really mature or grow to another level. I hope that's not the case for Dogbe, but it's increasingly beginning to look so. And I hope something changes and soon.
And then there's also the whole issue of whether or not he made the right decision to move up in weight. So there's also that.
Yeah, there's that.
Because the first real two quality boxers he's fought in this division, he's lost. Well, the other ones he won, to be fair, with all due respect, those opponents are not.
But there's day and light between them.
They're not good opponents. But anyway, he's still 29, so there's still massive, potential remaining, and some good number of years remaining in his professional fight. We've seen some boxers fight into their 40s, so why not? So maybe if he still keeps at it, he could still become a two-time world champion. But for now, that's another defeat. But he still ranks very high in the division, so we'll see what happens after that. Let's go to Let's do football now and switch quickly to Cote d'Ivoire. That was where Mamelodi Sundowns picked up their second win in the CAF Women's Champions League. They beat SC Casablanca, and SC Casablanca were making their debut in the competition. And Mamelodi Sundowns, they're champions from 2021, the inaugural edition. And, they've made the final of each of the last three. In fact, each of the three CAF Women's Champions League competitions, they've made the final. Got in there, no chance for the goalkeeper. Clear penalty, clear handball. Sichop, you're a big fan of Sundowns.
Yeah. I mean, when
they're doing a whole Netflix show on this run.
They're a serious football club, the very modern day football club. And listen, they're back with money, but they're back well with money. Yeah. We've seen clubs that have had a lot of money, but they've not necessarily produced what Sundowns are producing. Remember, the male side just won the African, football league, and the ladies are winning in Africa as well. So quite clear, there's something around the club that is working. And as you said, it is 3 times in a row for them in the final. They lost the last edition. They won the first one, they lost the last edition. They are back again as champions. So there's no fluke about it. They've just been the best, women's team on the continent, and the numbers are there to show.
All right. So Pemdakoa ladies, obviously, they were involved in the third place playoff match with Asfar Club. Asfar Club are the team they beat in the group stages of the competition, but they met them for the bronze medal and they won. Asfar got their revenge and beat, they beat Pemdakoa ladies. But we're still very proud of them because that was their first bow at the competition. Yeah. That's highlights from that game. They lost by 2-0. It was their first appearance at this competition. They finished in the top 4. That in itself is still
nothing to be ashamed of.
Yeah, nothing. Absolutely.
Something to be proud of.
Nothing to
and I saw videos of them. They were having a ball.
Look, they've had a wonderful campaign.
Yeah.
I particularly like Comfort Yeboah. I keep calling her by the nickname. She's had a wonderful campaign. Mm-hmm. I've watched every one of those games, and if you look at the mistakes she makes and the recovery after that, it's remarkable. I mean, for young players at this stage, for me, the real story has to be the ownership who picked up club kids from 5 years, 6 years, gave them full scholarship, take them through training and actual school education just to get them to this level. And those are not stories that abound in Ghana. Okay. When it happens, even in the men's game, Wafa is maybe Right to Dream, and these days Accra Lions, those are the stories that you get. So for Nana Fosu-Djabor to do that at Pemdakoa ladies is absolutely remarkable. An example of having resources in the right hands. And I'm hoping that the $200,000, is it, windfall that is coming in would at least cushion them to be able to do more.
Interesting. So congratulations once again to Pemdakoa ladies for finishing 4th in the CAF Women's Champions League. That in itself is massive credit to them. Let's move it on and do Ghana Premier League. But we'll begin with the highlight because people always accuse us of focusing too much on the negatives. And we will get to it, but we will talk about positive things. Kotoko, they beat Medeama Sporting Club and recorded their first win in 6 matches. And it took a penalty from Sharif Mohammed. This was an incident-packed game, Sicho. Yeah. Like, there were lots of talking points. Medeama felt they scored a goal they felt it wasn't offside. But the linesman said it was offside.
Yeah.
And then there was the penalty incident. So look at this again.
I think he was offside.
He was just offside.
I think he was just offside. He was. I think last time referee got the spot on. You're expecting, of course, Medeama to complain about that. They wouldn't see that. They don't have benefit of the replay. But this is the real talking point. How on earth that is a pen? It's staggering, really.
This is the penalty incident.
Yeah, that's the penalty.
You insist it's not a penalty.
Absolutely not.
We'll have a benefit of replay shortly.
I'm not sure how Infega is impeded. I'm not sure how this contact brings him down. It's the softest penalty that
You're even being nice by calling this.
Yeah, really, it's not a pen. It really is not a pen. And and it's also the controversy here is that Mo Sharif might have kicked the ball twice as he slipped.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay, so here we go.
He kicked it onto his
left foot, which shouldn't be a goal, right? And there was all of that controversy about it as well. So I just think some of these decisions from the referees, the fact that most of them are not on top of what the rules are, also is a problem. But Then again, that was a soft penalty, and maybe then the pen shouldn't have stood after Mo Sharif double kicked it.
Okay. But all right, let's look at the full results and the table. Then we'll talk about the biggest talking point from the weekend. So here are the full results. RTU got a first win as well. They won 3-1 against Dreams FC. It was their first win in 6 games. Nations FC, look at that. They piled more misery and Gold Stars. Gold Stars have not won in their last 6 matches. So Michael says suddenly is under all sorts of pressure. Brecum Chelsea beat Legon Cities. Heart of Lions, they lost at home to Bechem United 2-1. They have not won a single game all season in 11 matches. And you see, Great Olympics, they played against Samatex today. That ended 0-0. Lions and Hearts of Oak is tomorrow. Ediana Stars lost to Karela, but Ediana are still top of the table. We'll show you briefly what the table looks like. There it is, 21 points, just 1 point above Nsua-Treman, who drew 0-0 with Bofakwa Tano. And you see the top 10 there. Then the bottom 8 is coming right up as well. And it's not looking good for especially Heart of Lions. There you go. Gold Stars as well. Their poor run has left them in the relegation zone. Legon Cities also there. Kotoko's win has lifted them above. And it's really tight, isn't it, Sicho? Because Kotoko went in the relegation zone. One win, look at where they are.
Incredibly tight.
But they're only 1 point above the relegation
only
zone,
a point
even though they are in the 12th position. Let's go back to the results, Benaya. Let me focus on something here. Now, look at that. Bofakwa Tano drew 0-0 with Nsua-Treman, okay? Bofakwa Tano started, they just gained promotion. They play their league games in Sunyani. Nsua-Treman are based in Nsua-Tre. They're only about 25 minutes or so from Sunyani. So they're local rivals, really tight local rivals, okay? The match ended 0-0, and then chaos ensued. This is a summary of what happened.
The arrest shows the attack on the former Black Stars assistant coach and the current head coach of Ghana Premier League side in Nsua-Treman Football Club, Maxwell Konadu, by supporters of Bofakwa Tano following the Ghana Premier League game on Sunday at the Sunyani Coronation Park. The incident, which happened moment after the goalless drawn game, saw fans of the home side trooping into the inner perimeter, assaulting the head coach and some fans of Nsua-Treman. Maxwell Konadu was reportedly left unconscious and rushed to the Sunyani Regional Hospital, where he has since been receiving treatment. Hours after announcing a manhunt for the suspect, the police have since arrested one Seydou Musa, alias Gaswan, who is believed to have participated in the physical assault on the head coach. According to the police, the suspect is currently in custody, assisting with investigation, while efforts are still ongoing to get the other suspect to face justice. Meanwhile, the Ministry of Youth and Sports has strongly condemned the violent act, describing it as reprehensible and one which must have no place in Ghana football. They also called on the Ghana Football Association to work to enhance security at the various match venues. On their part, the Executive Joy Sports.
All right, that's the report from Razak Musbao, summarizing exactly what happened. The police have arrested some people in connection with the attack, and this is a statement that they released earlier. That statement is not Daniel and his wife. Please remove that picture from there. Thank you. The police have arrested suspect Seydou Musa, alias Gaswan, in connection with the attack on the coach of Nsua-Treman, Mr. Maxwell Konadu. The suspect, together with one other person currently on the run, attacked the coach during a football game yesterday. Seydou is currently in police custody, assessing the investigation, while efforts are still ongoing to get the other suspect arrested to face justice, and we'll surely get him. That's the police who they said, we will surely get him. It's like in this country and in the sports world, if your name is Seydou, you are just a troublemaker. You understand? You know the Kotoko Seydou.
Seydumba.
Seydumba. This is Maxwell Konadu today after he left the hospital. So he's doing well, thankfully. And you heard in the report some of the measures. The GFA has already issued a temporary ban to the club. They won't play games there. But it's not the first time. this has happened, and we keep going in circles. Honestly, I have no idea what to say anymore.
I have.
Please.
Because we can blame the GFA all we want, right? But as a people, we need to start looking at ourselves and asking ourselves if we are good people as a country, right? In terms of Ghanaians, because I can't understand how or imagine that there is any Ghanaian who sees football or who watches football that would have any effrontery of attacking a personality like Maxwell Konadu. He's been twice the assistant coach of the national team. He has won WAFU twice with the local national team. He has won the Premier League once with Kotoko, the President's Cup as well. This man is one of the coolest men you would find in football.
Bro.
And in the history, and I'm talking about his managerial credential, but what about him as a player? Right? What about him as a player? He's a star in Ghana. And
He's a former Black Stars player.
He's a former Black Stars player.
And Maxwell legend.
Absolutely. And Maxwell Konadu is he is a legend of the Ghanaian football.
Yeah.
One of the greatest coaches in the history of the Ghana Premier League. Now, if such a personality can be attacked by Ghanaians, then we as a people, we have genuine problems. And that is besides security measures, GFA. I'm talking about the humanity aspect of it.
And insist on this. Unprovoked.
Unprovoked.
He didn't do anything.
Unprovoked. And if you know Maxwell and the character that he is, very gentle, very calm, and he doesn't provoke anybody.
In fact, I was told he was actually trying to stop an attack on the coach.
Yes. And then
who himself is a stalwart in terms of Ghanaian football.
Yes, the both of them, they really are. So as a people, we need to start, aside security reasons, blah, 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 as a people,
so you see Frimpong Manso and you see Maxwell Konadu.
And you've got a certain level of them to even think of that in itself is a question mark on Ghanaians as a people or football lovers as a people. We can talk about the GFA all we want. We can talk about security all we want.
Yeah, but the
people at the game are those who, in my opinion, are the biggest disappointment, and they should be ashamed. And I wish them no luck or whatsoever. The police should get them and the law should deal with them. And that is where I also come in here. That, you see, I like the way the Ghana Police Service has moved swiftly. I've always said and maintained that the GFA has no capacity in dealing with this matter. It's a criminal matter.
Of course, he could have died.
He could have died.
It's assault.
It's assault. So as soon as the police hears anything like this, the GFA is a backbencher. What the GFA can do is to help in investigation, but the police needs to move in and take cover. And we see it everywhere in the world where when there is anything criminal, the football authorities are at the backbench. The authorities that have the mandate to prosecute people, to arrest people, take charge because it's a criminal matter. So I like the way the police have moved in. But then the police then have to move further and tell the GFA that if you want to protect the citizens of Ghana around your sports, venue A, venue B, venue D, it's a danger zone where human beings are not safe when you host sports. You get it? And that is what, everywhere it happens. Yeah. It happens. If the security tells you, you can't play this game at 2 a.m., you can't play this game at 4 a.m., you can't play that game at 6 p.m. because of security measures. So the police now have to also move further from just the arrest and then look at our venues and see which venues are death traps or danger zones where fans, coaches, players, everyone else won't be safe. And if Maxwell Konadu and Frimpong Manso
can be attacked,
are not safe in any GPO venue.
Nobody is safe.
Let me shoot down all of the wise words you've said, which would ordinarily have a lot of value in a sane society, because I don't believe we live in one. The society we have created makes it impossible for justice to be experienced in matters like this. And I'll give you examples. Konadu got lucky.
Yeah, he really did.
Kwame Andoche wasn't. He was lynched. I was a reporter in Takoradi back then.
Yeah.
In 2016 or was it 2014 then? And his crime, he gave a late penalty. In the understanding of the Ghanaian football fan, any late penalty is criminal.
Yeah.
So
it's corrupt.
When he gave that penalty in the Najo FC versus Bebiani Gold Stars match, they had to lynch him. And then they did. Ask yourself, the individuals who engage in that conduct, Were they even arrested? You know the most heartbreaking story about that match? There was no security officer on duty that day. No one on that day.
Just 2 seasons ago, we saw a video of Maxwell being chased. And there's clear video of people chasing him.
Same venue.
But unfortunately, and you see, beyond
in fact, he said his balls were squeezed. Nobody got arrested. There's a video showing the people chasing him.
Oh, yeah.
And that
but nobody got arrested. And that is because you have a security service that is poorly funded and also not independent. Poorly funded because I say when you go to venues like this, it is common sense that you will have body cams, right? So that over there you get shots of the people there. Even if you're overpowered, right? The assumption is that for these games, it is common sense that it is a flashpoint. Last 2 years ago, before Kotano, it happened. Before Tamale City, before RTU. There's been 4 or 5 of these incidents.
The biggest
even in RTU, they beat up RTU players and officials.
The return fixture of this one is going to be something.
So conventional wisdom suggests that you go there with 50, 40 police officers who all are armed, are trained for this, prepared with body cams, so that in an event like this, when anyone tries something funny, you get shot. However, they are poorly funded. So I doubt that they would even go to this venue with that. Unfortunately, I don't have confidence that the gentleman who has been arrested will be released. I actually think that he was only arrested because the club in question is the Labour and Employment Ministers Club. Honorable Bafoiwa. And I'm saying this because when Dr. Indum was pelted with stones in 2015, in fact, it happened twice. The first time it was the Sharks versus Dwarfs game. The second time it was in Sekendi. I was there when he came to watch the Sharks 11 Wise game. A woman, Mina Bedu, she was part. At the time, there was a guy called Bedu Bode, and then there was Kojo Peace, 3 of them.
These are people the locals know.
They know them. If anyone is watching Intercrady and supports 11 Wise, they know Bedu Bode, they know Mina Bedu, they know Kojo Peace.
And they saw them perpetrating the crime. And yet,
if it happened to Dr. Indum, and 11 Wise were not sanctioned severely, the individuals who did it did not face as stern a punishment as they ought to. It should leave you to question the sort of judicial system that we have in Ghana. Look, in this country, people only get punished if the individuals involved are high-profile personalities. So when it happened to Dr. Indum, within 24 hours, the guys were arrested. Of course, what happened later happened. When it happened to Kwesi Antachi at the Accra Sports Stadium, Wild Stars versus Hartlepool, the next day, the individual who threw the stone was fished out. But I'm saying to you that I will not be surprised if 3 months down the line, this matter dies a natural death. Because my suspicion is a big man associated to Kotoko or associated with them is going to be on a phone conversation with Dr. Bafo, Honorable Bafoiwa. And that's going to be the death of that matter.
And you've made an excellent point about the society that we've created. And for me, I think that's the biggest problem. But there is still something the GFA can do. I personally don't think that docking points, handing out temporary bans are enough. I think they should move a step further and start deducting points from clubs and get them relegated until they go into obscurity, because we don't need that. Okay? So if Bafokatano adopt 10 points for this behavior, they immediately are in the relegation zone. Next season, we won't have to deal with them in the Premier League anymore. They go to Division 1, they do the same thing, they get deducted points, they go to Division 2, and we don't have to deal with them.
That's the problem, isn't it? Because your football rules doesn't allow you to dock points in circumstances like this.
That's what needs to change.
Whose fault was that?
So now, if even the GFA changes its statutes and they dock points for this, Bafokatano goes to CAS or wherever, and they win the case, you know why? Because FIFA doesn't recognize that. It happened post the game.
Yes, that's what I'm saying. It won't be retroactive action.
Yes, we need to find a way.
We're talking about progressively what can be done.
Even for what the FA can do, they are sleeping on the job. The Kotoko Nations FC incident happened how many months ago?
They fined Kotoko 80,000.
They have only acted because they cannot, in good conscience, punish Bafo when they have not punished what Kotoko fans did.
So they've moved quickly to punish Kotoko.
That's what it looks like.
If you give them the benefit of the doubt that maybe they are doing their investigations, then the question then again is, are they equipped to carry out investigations on matters like this? Do they have the know-how?
So for me, I think that regulation-wise, we need to change that and enforce stricter punishment. Right. And for me, I think docking points should be one of those things. Because if you get relegated because you've been subtracted points for this misbehavior, Next season, you are in Division 1. You do the same thing. You're going to Division 2. And then before you know it, your club is no longer anywhere to be found in the football pyramid. Look, so you can take your misbehavior to wherever, to come into wherever you want to do, but not in a professional football setting.
Look, the Kotoko
and I agree with
sanction.
Sisho.
The Kotoko sanction.
Yeah.
It only says they are punishing them for what they did. So the 80,000 will go to Nations FC to cover the cost of it. But what about the deterrence components of sanctions? So tomorrow you can destroy whatever you want, and once you can afford it.
But my last point would be to hammer what Sisho said about the attitude of the people. Yeah. Because you and I sitting here, no matter how much defeat our team is suffering, we'll never invade the pitch and go and beat up our own coach or an official. We will not do that. Why should you do that? Why should that be okay? And the people of Sunyani or the people in BA, they're the most passionate people. They watch football a lot. They've contributed a lot to our football. And the people there from the Brona-Hafu region, a lot of them, in fact, majority of them are very sensible football fans. So those ones, you have to do some gatekeeping and take care of the ones that are spoiling the names of everybody. Because something else had been going on. Some rivalry between BA clubs and the northern clubs. And every season we record incidents. After you go to Doma and get beaten, they go to Instructure, get beaten, they go to Sunyani, get beaten. They go to, then Doma goes to, Ejana goes to Tamale, incident happens. We have to stop these things. So the GFA has its role to play, but the people that watch the football, it's not life and death. Football, no, it is not life and death. So please, 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 all the people who invaded the pitch, did you see, are you proud of the video? Some of you even went onto that page. You had no business going there. And you're, in fact, even when I guarantee you, when Bofakwa qualified to play in the Premier League, not even that many people invaded the pitch to celebrate.
But we saw the video.
Why should that many people invade the pitch just to create chaos? What are you doing on the pitch? You have no business on the pitch. The game is ended. Go home. It was even a draw. You are not required to win every single game. It's not owed you. It's a football match. You understand? So listen, the football fans, for me, I think that is where the biggest responsibility is. And that is why this country is not moving forward. One of the biggest problems with this country is the attitude of the citizens. No, it's true. You want a clean city, and yet you drink pure water and throw it onto the street. How can the city be clean? How can the city, you throw it? Last week, 2 weeks ago, I saw a video on Twitter. The woman, she sells plantain. She peeled the plantain. It was raining.
Across the road.
She carried the peels of the plantain, came to pour it inside the gutter. Why would you do this and expect the country to go forward? Our attitudes need to change. It needs to start with us. Because trust me, no matter what happened, if the fans did not invade the pitch, we didn't need the police. You don't need 1,000 police officers there. If the fans didn't invade the pitch, what happened would not have happened. So listen, let's start with ourselves, okay? We don't want to come here next week and come and discuss these things. Because look, I love BA. I respect the people there. I respect their contribution to football. Don't spoil the names of everybody from BA. A few hooligans. What is this? What is the meaning of this? Oh, you people are disgracing the entire region. Let's move it on. Now, the World Cup qualifiers are on. The Black Stars started with a game against Madagascar. They won 1-0. They struggled a lot, but they got the victory. Enjoy the highlights. After that, we'll come here and Sitcho has some analysis for us on what transpired in that particular match. Take a look.
Dennis Odoi with the throw. Noama somehow hanging onto the ball, finds Mensah in space, shoulders it up into the air, brought down now. This is it, now or never for Ghana. Bukari makes his way into the box, it's delivered in, and the header, and the winner! They do find the breakthrough, and it is Iñaki Williams who scores for Ghana for the very first time, and in doing so finally unlocks the most resilient of Malagasy defences. They're distraught. The Madagascar defence drops to its knees, but in the stands they're bouncing, and some have even made their way onto the pitch. Well, it looked like time was up, but they kept on going, and Mensah's delivery in was perfect. And this time, finally, a Ghana player was able to get the better of Melvin Adrian.
All right, so Ghana got a much-needed victory. I have good news for you. Mali drew their second game, so they have 4 points at the top of the group. Ghana can go top with 6 points if they can just do the small issue of beating Comoros on Tuesday. I want to take a very, very short break. When we come back, we'll go to Sicho on the tactical board.
Sudoi with the throw. Noama somehow angled onto the ball, finds Mensah in space, shoulders it up into the air, brought down now. This is it, now or never for Ghana. Bukari makes his way into the box, it's delivered in, and the header, and the winner! They do find the breakthrough, and it is Iñaki Williams who scores for Ghana for the very first time, and in doing so finally unlocks the most resilient of Malagasy defences. They're distraught. Madagascar defence drops to its knees. But in the stands, they're bouncing, and some have even made their way onto the pitch.
Welcome back. This is Sports Zone on Joy Prime. My name is Fentio Tahir Fentio. The show is sponsored by Syntex Tank and, of course, Hunters. And I've got lots of your messages coming in through the hashtag Sports Zone on Twitter and also on WhatsApp. The number is on your screen, 0551575757. If you're watching from outside the country, just add the country code +233. And then you have +233. 551575757. I've got some messages here. If you see me standing here, it's because Sicho is about to delve into this screen. I'm only here to help him. But I've got some messages. I want to read some of them. On Twitter, Theophilus Star, he says, I watched a steward in the Ghana Premier League punch a player coming onto the field. His response was, why did he pass behind the goalpost before entering the pitch? Don't you love this country? Edem Komla Gabienu, he says, instead of the football people to go to Congress and change the regulations, they will rather go and clap for anything and everything. All right, interesting. This one says, this is Lasix Kenny, all right, Molinu. He says, today my problem is the Black Stars. Or my problem with the Black Stars is as follows. Number one, somebody should tell the front three to also press after losing the ball. Number two, we don't want to watch Jordan always pulling his shots. Now, it's becoming annoying. Interesting. All right. And lots of you are sending congratulations to Daniel as well. B. Bright Jr. says, Fent, in Cameroon 2022, Ghana nil, Comoros nil, first minute, 5th minute, Comoros scored, 25th minute, Dida Ayu got red card, 62nd minute, Comoros 2-0, 64th minute, Ghana equalized 1, 77th minute, 2-2, 85th minute, Comoros scored 3. So 3-2, and it says full time, Ghana 2, Comoros 3. Can the Black Stars put Comoros at their level for me, please? All right, interesting. I've got some more messages here. Let me take a few, especially the ones on WhatsApp as well. This one says, instead of, it says, good evening, say, I'm Prince watching from Sunyani, all right? And I want to take this message because it comes from Sunyani. It says, I have been following your conversation, but what I have to say is I was there personally. The reason why the coach was beating was that he insulted the people of Sunyani and he called them fools. But what I heard, you see, hearsay, it's not good. And I think the ref is the cause of all this. If the officiating was good, why was the ref running after the game? Because no one was after him. I think people were after him. He can see what you can't see. So he's running away because he wants to get into the dressing room very quickly before anybody attacks him. You know, so he's taking some matters into his own hands, his own safety.
After the incident that have happened, if someone breathes in the wrong direction, you run.
Yeah. Anyway, so you know, and Prince, to be fair, no matter what happens, there is no justification to go and attack the referee or attack a coach. There are other avenues you can use. Look at all the nonsense going on with officiating in England, with the referee nonsense, VAR, even with VAR. All right, but we've never seen anybody go onto the pitch and try to slap a referee or chase a referee like what we saw from the Coronation Park. So I understand the feeling, and that some of our referees are also incompetent and they take certain decisions that are not great. But no matter what, the solution isn't to go onto the pitch and attack them. Anyway, let's come back to the screen. Sicho has been, looking at some of the key incidents from the game. Now, Sicho, in this game, Ghanaians were not very happy, especially in the first half. Even Chris Hughton himself said he wants to win games more comfortably. There was a lot of talk about why Ghana started the game with 2 DMs, and they said they couldn't progress the ball. Too many issues. What have you picked up?
Well, yeah, Fent, I think the general consensus from Ghanaians was that the 2 DMs that started the game were not progressing the ball necessarily enough. Okay. But I've looked at the game 3 times already, and I'm thinking that it wasn't necessarily because they couldn't progress the ball. It was a simple matter of, in the first half, not enough movement in front of the midfield. And I'll show you why. Because if you're midfield and you've got the ball, unless you want to dribble through, if your other players don't show up in good areas, there isn't much you can do. And throughout the first half, for Baba Idrisu, for Salis, even the centre backs, the front line gave them nothing to feed on. Yeah. So this is very much in the first half, and I'll show you what happened in the first half if you play it on. Okay. Now, if you move the first half on, this is one incident where this is Salis. As Salis grabs the ball, right? Okay. Salis grabs the ball and is looking for a pass ahead of him. Okay. Now, mind you, we are looking at this whole space, right? This whole space in the half of our opponents, which is Madagascar. Yeah. Right? There isn't one attacker who is coming short to receive the ball whatsoever. In fact, none of them find themselves in this frame. So
no Ghanaian attackers, obviously. At this point, they should be making runs back.
Yeah, at this point, somebody should be, or a couple of them should be occupying these spaces, and at least that space, just so that there is an outlet for our midfielders. Nobody's making that run. Absolutely nobody. And when you look at the frame that I've frozen here, you've got our back line, you've got our two midfielders, and in the half of the Malagasy, the Ghanaians are far behind the midfield and right in front of the back line.
So this way, he can't make a pass.
He cannot make a pass. So look at him there. Oh, let me drag it way back here. So there it is. Now, if you play it on, as the ball comes to him, look at him. Look at Salis's body movements and look at that. Right now, play it on again. Yeah, as we described. There's no ball. Nobody is in a good position for him to feed the ball through. And look at Salis.
He's pointing.
He's absolutely pointing that who am I feeding the ball to? Because at this point, you're expecting Mohamed Kudus to be somewhere here. Yeah. Right? You're expecting maybe Jordan as well to try
in fact, he's pointing at Jordan.
And he's pointing at Kudus actually, because this is a very good space for him to play the ball into. That space, it's a very good space for him to play the ball into. Yeah. Yeah, here. But nobody really is making a run. All of them are in spaces where he clearly can't find the ball. So if you play it on, there's no pass on.
So he goes back.
He has to go back. So we look at the game, we are thinking that our midfielders are not progressing the ball enough. And look at that. That is Salis still trying to make a run for himself and get into a space and receive the ball. None of our front men is doing the same. So they are forced to go wide. And in the process, they kick the ball out of touch. Right?
And there are several instances of this.
Many instances, which I'll show you. There is another one, again, in similar fashion. The goalkeeper is trying to go long. There is no out ball. He goes to Nicholas Opoku. And while he does that, Nicholas Opoku doesn't have any pass. There is nobody making any run into this space, which if anybody does, there's a pass there. There is no pass. Absolutely not. So now, what does Ali say to do? He has to hold on to the ball. Yeah. He's trying to dribble, and then Ghana loses the ball. So all our front men were locked in behind the midfield of the opponent, and nobody could find them. This is another example. Look at where Antoine Semenyo finds himself. Yeah. That is where he finds himself. That is where Jordan is. There's no
Kudus is out of shot.
Out of picture. There's no Kudus, there's no Inaki. Now, this is the midfield, right? In decent position there and there. They're in decent positions, right? But there is nobody to play the ball to at this point. That is Salis. Who can Salis find from here? Nobody is showing. Absolutely nobody. He has to go square. Right? But this is a good space for somebody to drop into. All of them, look at where they are. Look at where.
Very closely marked.
Very closely marked. In spaces where it's impossible to progress the ball unless he's got enough whip around him to go long for the run of Jordan, which is not his game, Salis. So the attackers are not showing up in the first half. Again, he's pointing that who is there for him to find the ball. So it's not for the fact that they didn't want to progress the ball, but there wasn't enough movement ahead of them for them to progress that ball. So what does he do? He goes back, throws his hands up in frustration, tries to come short and pick the pass. Then Nicolas Opoku takes the matter into his own and trying to find Alidu. Ball is lost, right? And that was the recurring theme throughout the entire first half. Now, this is the few times that Mohamed Kudus got himself in this position. Okay. Right? He gets in front of the man and look at the pass of Baba Idris. So everybody thinks Baba only goes square. But the one time Kudus makes himself available, what does he do? He finds him. He goes straight to him. Right? There's pressure on Kudus. He can't turn and go around the body. So Kudus comes back as well because nobody follows the run of Kudus to back him up. So Kudus has to go back. And the same thing repeats itself. Baba is trying to go wide. Nobody's showing up, so the ball is lost. And that was the main problem in the first half. And we'll end this clip very soon because there's another one that quite clearly points to some of the problems that we saw.
Yeah, it is coming.
And this is it. This is it again. This is Salis. Yeah. Once he gets the ball here, there's no room for him to go for it, so he has to go back. And it goes back to Opoku. Now he's going wide. Now keep an eye on Daniel Amate. actually urging them to move forward, find a space. Jordan comes short, the ball comes back to him. But it is the lack of movement. Look at everybody here. Everybody here. The lack of movement in the team that really is not aiding the ball progression. Now, there were very few times in that first half, very, very few times in that first half that Ghana got themselves in those positions where there was a little bit of movement.
Okay.
Now, in the minds of many Ghanaians, Saleh, Baba Idrisu, the backline didn't want to progress the ball. But look at them still in the first half. Keep your eye on the clock as they try to go vertical. This is Daniel Amate. And as the ball comes back to him, look at what he does. Straight away, he's waiting for a movement ahead of him. Yeah. And when that movement arrives, ping, he pings the ball to Mohamed Kudus.
That's a brilliant pass.
Because Kudus gets himself in a good position in front of his man to receive the ball with his back, which he's brilliant at. Now, that was one of the best moves for Ghana in that first 45 minutes. Kudus goes wide, then Ghana works the ball in a certain spell. The ball goes into the box really, but it flashes out a half chance. Ghana couldn't take it. But we only created this chance because there was a little movement from Kudus, drawing defender or midfielders out of their comfort zone. The ball goes wide, and there is something we can work with.
That is another incident.
That is another incident we can look at. That is Nicolas Opoku. People say he doesn't pass the ball forward, he doesn't go for it. But that is Salis, who everyone says he's keeping it simple. But that is not simple. The only reason why Salis plays that ball is because Kudus realizes that he needs to start showing up for the ball.
And he threats it to him.
And he pings it to Kudus. And we know what Kudus can do in this zone. Straight away, more tense. And he's facing the defense of Madagascar. It's completely taking away the whole midfield of Madagascar without one pass.
So the thing here is that the midfielders can actually pass.
They can't pass.
The problem was that the attackers didn't create enough spaces for themselves.
Enough space or good enough movement ahead of them for that to happen. And the few times that I said, like I said, they did, we saw some of the signs that the ball can really go forward. But then let me show you briefly, just briefly, what Madagascar did in that first half that maybe we should have done. Now, when you look at Madagascar, the only reason why they were running past us easily was because they had enough movement about them anytime they had the ball. So keep your eye on how they are building up and look at how players are moving into areas to make it easy for them to receive the pass. Keep your eye on the number 7 here, right? The number 7, he drops into this space, right here, into this space. He's got another player here, he's got another player there. Look at the positions they are picking up. As the ball moves, keep your eye on these 3 because they move in sync with the position of the ball. Now, if you play it on, keep your eye on them now as they move, right?
Yeah.
Great. Now, look at the movement that they are going to be giving out here. He comes, he receives the ball. There's a movement coming up to back the movement up. Right? And there you go. Salis does well to try and press, but look at another movement. Once they realize that their man is on the ball,
look at that.
They spread the game because they've concentrated Ghana in one area and they can easily switch. One thing that Ghana couldn't do throughout the game. There's a second attack we would see, and this is even more beautiful because the movement is brilliant. There you have it. There. Look at the position they are going to pick up here. There's a player here, there's a player there, there's a player there, right? And look at how they move in sync with the position of the ball. Something that was lacking in Ghana's game in that first 45 minutes. So now look at the movement. As he makes this run, he turns, there's another movement here, picks up the ball, little 1-2 into the corner. Now Richard Ofori has to make a save to save Ghana.
Fantastic. But we improved in the second half.
Second half was a lot better. Things that improved in the second half. A lot more movement and the sharpness with which we passed and moved the ball.
So it wasn't just the issue of personnel change, the fact that Majid came, but even the existing players
also had to then start moving and showing up. And as soon as the second half started, keep your eye on what happens here. I think that is the conversation he had in the dressing room because as soon as the second half started, as Amati gets the ball, look at the number of players in the Black Star shirt showing up.
That is a lot. All of them are dropping.
Odo is on the pitch, right? And there's one here already. Now, Amati has options. He can go this way. He can go that way if he keeps coming short. If he's, he can actually go this way. So he's got options.
Or a ball over the top.
A ball over the top to Odoi. In that first half, they had none of that. Right? But in the second half now, players are beginning to show up for it. And there he comes. Ashimiro picks up the ball. Yes, he is fouled. But at least we've got enough bodies in areas where they can help them. Then there's another move. And look at where Mohamed Kudus picks up the ball in an area where he can hit Madagascar. Look how deep he comes.
This
is how deep Mohamed Kudus
is. Because typically, Kudus will not be here.
And in the first half, the whole of the first half, we didn't see enough of him here. The second half, he drops deep, he picks up the ball, and he does what he does best. Keeps his head on the ground, runs at the open, and beats a couple of them. The final ball to Inaki isn't great. But Inaki does well to recycle possession. Kudus has an effort on goal from that. And as Kudus makes that effort, a lot more players are backing up the effort because look at that. Odoi is making that run. Kudus still stays. And there's a backup from
Pressing
the midfield.
very high up the pitch.
Pressing very high up the pitch. Now midfielders have joined the game as well. So there's another effort that is going to come. And it's only going to come because while the attackers make the way into the box, the midfielders are backing it up. So who arrives on the ball? Majid Ashmero. But while he takes that shot, while Majid takes that effort, you look at the players who are in that space, right? So there you have it. You've got Gideon Mensah here. You've got Majid Ashmero who took the shot. You've got Salis. You've got Odoi.
They're waiting for that second ball.
They're waiting for that second ball. If we lose the ball in this area, they're likely to pounce.
Yeah.
So we're a lot more proactive in that second half with an aggressive, but a bit more of pace and movement in and about the ball.
Yeah.
So a lot more is going to happen in the second half, and that in itself is going to actually lead to the goal, as we'll see from more footage coming through. Now, this is one of the moves as it develops. You know, keep your eye on the space that Odoi has created. And it really never really goes that high, but that is where Odoi can be. But Odoi has gone very wide. But there is movement there from Inaki Williams.
Fantastic.
In that first
ball
half,
over the top.
and the only reason why that ball is able to go over the top is because Mohamed Kudus is able to drop. Now, play it on.
Okay.
Play it on, and I'll show you something. Now, okay, keep it running.
Yeah.
No, keep it running for me, please.
Okay.
No, while he goes, now you can hold it right here, right here. Good. Look at where Mohamed Kudus is, right? Mohamed Kudus is in a very, okay, I think we're good. Yeah, Mohamed Kudus is in a very good position here. He's certainly giving the defender behind him something to think about.
Yeah.
The moment Kudus draws closer to the midfield, the back line can't be very deep. They will step up. What that offers the Black Stars is space in behind.
Yeah.
What do we make of the space? The movement of Inaki Williams into the space. Did we think Nicolas Opoku couldn't play that pass? In the first half, it didn't look like it because there was no movement.
Yeah.
But in the second half, ping, the ball goes to Inaki Williams, who is making that brilliant run over the top because there is space in behind, something we never found.
Because so therefore, like you're saying, so the movement of Kudus here was what drew this defender here, leaving this space behind.
They have to come short. They have to come short. If our attackers, all our attackers are on this line, then there's no point in them coming short. Okay. And that's the space that it left in behind. And we started seeing a lot more of that in that second half when the Black Stars started showing up for the ball, started coming short for the passes, and we started creating a lot more problems for the Malagasy. And we see a lot more of it. It's not just a one scenario, but there are multiple scenarios. And here's another incident. And this, I love this. I absolutely love this because while this play develops, you look at what happens here. There is this, there is that, there is that. Straight away, what you find is a triangle. There's a massive overload here, and it only happens because Ashmero is, making this move here, and Odoi is staying high, and it's come short to combine with his teammates. Now that moves on, and it hold it again for me. Now, if you hold it again, we still have the triangle.
Another triangle.
Because Ashmero didn't stop.
With a different player coming short,
and Ashmero continues his run with Odoi. Okay. So look at how it unfolds and how they run around the triangle. Ball comes to Ashmero.
That's another triangle.
Yeah, that's another triangle. Ball moves to Odoi, and then there's a crossing opportunity. We did not have any of this in that first 45 minutes because of the lack of movement and the lack of tenacity about our passing and the pace with which we were moving the ball. All of that changed in that second 45 minutes. And this video again will tell us some more about how good we were in movement. That is Mohamed Kudus who comes short. Doesn't get the best control, but at least he's shown up to be an extra body in there. So look at how we switch the ball. Another one of those balls that is going to go, into a very good area. Now look at how we're going to ping it because there is very good movement. Look, players like Semenyo is coming short. That is Jordan Ayew. Jordan Ayew, lovely way to hold up the ball, gets through the bodies, and this creates a chance. Yeah. But the reason why this chance is actually a goal that is flagged offside is keep your eye on Inaki Williams as he makes this run here, right? As Inaki Williams sees that the ball goes wide, he doesn't stop. Inaki Williams continues making that all-important run, striving to get him into the box because he knows that something could happen. In that first half, the front line was very static. We barely had these moments in the game. And unfortunately for Inaki Williams, he was
there for the rebound.
He was there for the rebound. I mean, the striker can only be in a good place to score. He was there, he got the goal, but it was flagged for offside.
Let's look at our goal then.
Right. Now, so let's look at okay, now this move before then the goal, because this is also a very beautiful one.
Okay.
Now, look at Antoine Semenyo. Okay, now let's move it on a little bit because there's one that Mohamed Kudus helps in the build-up, which if he scored, now this is it.
Yeah.
Now look at how the build-up is developing.
Okay.
Players picking up very good positions, so played on. Right? And you're looking at Nicholas Opoku and at the time Kasim Nu.
This is Salis with the
and
ball.
This is Salis. And then there is space now for him to ping the ball.
And
Nicholas
look at
Opoku.
that pass from Kasim.
Look at who draws into the midfield to allow space in behind. None of that happened in that first half. Again, there is one chance that Mohamed Kudus had.
That was it. That was it.
That was it?
Yeah.
Okay, so let's
put the ball over the top.
No. The ball from Nicholas Opoku into the foot of
I think that's coming up.
Medeama. Yeah. Okay, that's this again. This chance again also tells us how good our movement was. And if we play it on here, okay, now let me just leave it here. Now, friends, look at Majid Ashimiro as he realizes that he has an opportunity of coming to help his teammates. So this is what happens. Majid Ashimiro only comes this place to this place to combine and help. So again, he's helping to form again the three men to give him options because another player stays in the box and is trying to wait for the cross. What Ashimiro does is to come short again, movement, offering himself as an option, an out ball if you like. Ball comes to him, shows a bit of skill, shows a bit of strength and awareness.
Almost gets, what a goal.
What a goal that would have been. That is one of the moves of the game. Look at Nicholas Opoku here. Okay. And if you pause it, right? Mm-hmm. If you pause it, the ball just went past Mohamed Kudus. This is Mohamed Kudus, right? In a very good area. This is Medeama. This is Nicholas Opoku. Mm-hmm. We all said they couldn't pass the ball vertically. They are always going short. But what does he do here because of the movement? He passes the ball vertically, pings it into Medeama. And look at what Kudus does.
Between two defenders.
Kudus darts past Medeama, and that creates the opportunity. It's all about the movements and the presence of mind. Now, then the goal itself also happens. Odoi overlaps. Medeama manages to keep the ball really well and then goes wide. And this is what is beautiful about the goal. Because if you stop it here, after Gideon Mensah almost miscontrolled the ball, this boy, Ashimiro, who completely changed the face of the second half, he's still sharp in his memory to know that he has to move into this space.
Okay.
Because this is where a massive space is in this area. So he comes to occupy it. In that first half, we had none of that. Look at Bukari, he's wide. The most obvious pass for him to play, Gideon to play is to go this way.
Bukari.
Yeah. But because Ashimiro makes this run, the ball goes to Ashimiro. Bukari makes the run inward, which vacates the space for Mensah to join him.
Yeah.
One-time cross, early cross, fast cross, Inaki is on hand to pounce.
Wow.
So I think the first half was lack of movement, how slow we were passing, players not showing up for the ball. And the second half was with the tenacity, the pace, and the willingness of the players to take risk and show up for the ball.
Interesting. A fantastic analysis. Thank you, Sicho. So the template is there. It's not just about the tactics. It's also about willing runners. Okay, it's also about a lot of the players offering themselves up and not just standing there and waiting for the balls to come to them, but actually actively getting involved in the play. So you've seen it. Maybe now that you've had another perspective, another look at it, maybe the way you thought about our midfielders might be a little bit different, and maybe you start thinking about them differently. And all of the idea that our defenders or DMs cannot pass, maybe that was slightly exaggerated. Hopefully we'll see a lot better from the team against Comoros tomorrow. We'll take another short break. When we come back, more of your messages. Karim has a rating from the game, and then we'll take you around the continent and show you how some of the countries fared in the World Cup qualifiers. This is Sports Zone on Joy Prime. Welcome back. This is Sports Zone on Joy Prime. My name is Fenjo Tahir Fenjo. The show is sponsored by Syntex Tank as well as Hunters. Karim, you watched the game as well, and you've put together some ratings, I believe.
I watched and rewatched again.
Rewatched the game?
So I can put this together.
Why do your ratings look suspiciously low?
Suspiciously low like how?
Actually, have you seen... I say like how?
You can see somebody having 7 and you are saying it's low.
Karim.
7 out of 10.
So what? So your biggest... Just take us through the ratings and why you've given Inaki, Mensah 7 and everybody else had that not even good enough for a 6.
Others got 6, so just wait for it. Richard Ofori, I didn't expect him to start, but he started. From the beginning, he was looking rusty, But as the game wore on, he picked up and made some important save. Apart from that 6-minute jump he made to stop the corner, but it didn't work. Then after that, his leadership was really key in organizing the back. Then Ali Duseidu, he didn't really help himself in that game, I think. He was overly aggressive in games, tackles that you don't expect him to be really dirty, but he went in with some kind of vim you don't see.
Rightly substituted at the end of the first half.
And the thing is that he made himself so noticeable to all. He just raised his shoulders. You can see in every situation that he's in a bad moment, you see that it's him. Then Nicolas Opoku and his partnership with Amati, the understanding wasn't really there. So when Madagascar wanted to penetrate the box, they had it so easy to do it. So Opoku got 4, Amati got 3.3 after the 63rd minute, he got an injury and he was substituted. Then Gideon Mensah, if you ask me, apart from the goal Iñaki scored, and
it was one of our better performers for sure.
And Majid Ashmiru coming on, he was our best player. Not just the assists he provided, but overall he was on top of his game on Friday. So he got 7. Then he's having the best rating in the game with Iñaki Williams. They delivered the most important start in the game. That's Mensah provided the assist and Iñaki scored the goal. Then Sicho summed up why he wasn't progressing the ball. But I thought his game wasn't just how not so good he wasn't just about the progression. If you are looking at how he was tackling, he was going into players, like trying to climb them sort of. So it didn't really make sense, the kind of play he wanted to effect in the game. So he got 4. Then Baba Idrisu was substituted at halftime. He got 3.5. Then Jordan Ayew. I thought his hold-up play in a game that Madagascar were controlling the game so much was good for the game. And when he went off. And also, there's one thing about his play in that game. The corner kicks and the set pieces he was taking, the corner kicks were particularly good. That's something new I saw in that game for him, and he got 5. Then Mohamed Kudus was involved in a lot, but sometimes the decision-making and sort of things, then he got 5. Then Semenyo, he didn't get a lot of service, but sometimes he didn't also help himself. He got 4. Then the substitutes here, Dennis Odoi came on, provided some really good crosses, and at some moments when he came on, the kind of versatility and movement we needed in that right side, Ali didn't provide. And when he came on, we saw some changes in that. Then Majid Ashmiru, he changed everything when he came on. So deservedly, he got 6. He should have gotten 7. But what Iñaki and Co has done is the most important thing we needed in the game. Then Kasim Adams also came in for Amate. He got 4. Then Enes Nuama also gave the people something to cheer about, got 4.5. Then Osman Bukari didn't play long enough to get ratings. So that's it. Fento, before I go, tomorrow is my sister's birthday. And we wouldn't be here tomorrow to wish her a happy birthday. She's one of the people that have believed in me. And I'm now standing
there. Can you imagine? He's using our analysis.
Fento is really special to me.
Yes, go on.
But you've done it.
I've done it. Now let me do it well, eh?
Just wish the person the happy birthday.
My sister, Adamu Barkisa, Haji Adamu Barkisa, I'm wishing a happy birthday in advance tomorrow. She's my birthday twin, too. So.
Okay. Are you done?
Yes.
Haji Barkisu, happy birthday.
So tomorrow is your birthday too?
Yes.
Happy birthday in advance.
Happy birthday in advance.
I'll write Karim's application letter to L'Equipe because what he's done today.
Yeah, those ratings are, in my opinion, very harsh. I thought Nicolas Opoku did well in the game as well. But anyway, let me take you to the group standings of the World Cup qualifiers. Just give you an idea. Some countries have played, what do you call it? They played 2 games already. Some countries to just 1 game. So let's go to Group A, B, and C. Egypt, they've played 2 matches now. So they have 6 points in that group, top of their group. Senegal, they play against Togo tomorrow. So if they can win, they would go on 6 points as well. DR Congo have 3 points. They played 2 matches. Benai's table is not up to date. DR Congo got beaten by Sudan. So in this group, Sudan are top of the group. They have 4 points.
Ghanaian interest there, yeah?
Yes, Kwesi Appiah is the coach of that team.
I saw a video of the goalkeeper's coach, Dauda.
Yeah, taking the
coaching about a goal they considered in the first game and what they could have done better. Was beautiful.
So Sudan and South Sudan are in the same group. I want to watch that game. Group C has South Africa, Nigeria. There have been 2 matches there as well. I don't think South Africa have played their second game.
No,
Nigeria have played
tomorrow.
2 matches. Yeah. Both of them have been draws. They drew against Lesotho and drew against Zimbabwe. Let's move on to the next. Cameroon, yes, Libya as well, Zambia, Tanzania, Morocco, and then you see Cote d'Ivoire. They won their first game by some heavy scoreline like that. I think 6, or something like that.
I think they won today.
9,
yeah, they won 9. I think they won.
It was
today
Egypt
too.
that won by 6.
6, yeah.
Let's move on to the other groups. So you see Ghana's group there. Mali have 4 points. The Black Stars have 3, and Ghana can go top if they get the victory tomorrow. Algeria also have 2 wins out of 2. So in that group, Algeria also have 6 points now.
But the rate at which all our opponents are scoring goals means the Black Stars really need to up their ante.
Then tighten up with the back especially. Yeah.
Yes, because I think today Madagascar also scored 3 on the road.
Yeah. This one says Chris Hutton should back up. We struggle with Madagascar at home. And then it says we struggle with Madagascar at home, like playing against the powerhouses in African football, the Cameroon or the Senegal. It's good Naki scored and Ashmel was so delicious to enjoy. Thank you very much. This one says, good evening, friend. I'm happy for Danny K. Congrats to him. A year ago, he got married. This year, DK got married. And then 2024 is my year too. By the way, who's still single in the team now? This guy. This guy.
But this seat does one day, so I trust in the seats.
Anyway,
fix the date.
Thank you. Show brought to you by Centex Tank, of course, and Hunters. My name is Fenjo Tahir Fenjo. Sicho Philip Achre and Achu Victor Tamaklo join me tonight. We're back again next Monday. Until then, thank you for your time.